WDWNT is proud to bring to you a WDWN Tunes original segment. This is Around the Hub. Our two hosts are going back and forth in the sport of competitive Disney banter, earning points when the host sees fit and losing them when they say something completely stupid. At the end of the round, someone will get 30 uninterrupted seconds of a meet and greet to talk about whatever topic they would like, with the loser plummeting down into the pit of despair. On tonight's show, we'll be playing One Man's Word. We're going to go through some of the news topics you heard in our lovely monologue, where I expect Tom and Nick to each give me one word about that topic. And of course, you're going to have to explain it. The one word won't suffice. You've met the panel. You know the rules. Now, let's play Around the Hub.
You're going down, Cicero. This ain't your week.
Hey, look.
Just letting everyone know, the score stands right now at Tom 30, Nick 28. So we're going to let Nick go first, get the chance to earn some first.
Yeah, we're going to run all year.
Oh, yeah, the whole year.
Is Michelle not playing this week?
No, we decided to spare Michelle.
Oh, okay. All right. That's more
so what, my 29 points from 2 weeks ago don't count?
I'll take them.
I'm not
Give me a head start.
You can't just
did I have
28
or 29? I was 1 point off, and you're like, "Oh, you're such a loser!" And I was down by 1 point.
I didn't say that. Oh boy,
You just
Patrick,
have to go in the pit of despair.
What?
Pit
I
of
didn't hear.
despair.
Oh, pit of despair.
I lived there.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Before this show gets too dark, why don't we move on?
We need one man's word, Nick, for the Coco show that is coming to the Mexico Pavilion. One word and why.
Spanish.
Spanish.
Good one.
I think that's pretty self-explanatory.
He lost a point for that, right?
Hasn't gained any. All right,
You
Tom,
gotta
how about
explain.
you? One word for the Coco show. What's that?
Balance.
And why?
Do I explain that now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it is good to keep the 3 caballeros. I think Coco does not work well as an overlay of a slow boat ride. They're not going to spend the money to do a big e-ticket, which I think, like, if you did something with that whole, I don't even remember what they called the World of the Dead, but I mean, it's a beautiful
Dia
scene.
de los Muertos.
That's the holiday. That's not a place.
It's the Day of the Dead.
But, like, that would be beautiful. But they're not going to do that. It would be a simple boat overlay. So I'd rather keep the caballeros. And the music is the strongest thing in Coco, I think. So that, with that band, that band is unparalleled. The Mariachi Cobra, unparalleled. Them playing that music is the proper way to put Coco in Epcot.
Yeah, really well thought out points there, and I agree with you.
I didn't know we get to talk that much. Okay, now I know how this.
You can
go.
let him explain it. I think that's
Yeah.
unfair. Nick didn't get to explain. Do you want to explain?
No. I mean,
Oh.
I don't know where to go.
I'm giving you a chance to get points.
I misunderstood. I thought it was one word, and
He explained it.
I wasn't listening.
Thank you.
Someone said Nick looks nervous.
I am. This is.
The chat says Nick's thinking face.
all right.
LOL.
No.
Tom, we're gonna have you go first. I need one man's word for the new dogs over at BB Wolf's.
Creative? I don't know. I've always liked their stuff, and I think they have to try because the Disney Springs food landscape is so hard to break into. There's so much good stuff where I don't know how I would go for lunch and be like, and I like BB Wolf's. I think it's very good, but I don't know how I would make that choice over Blaze and Chicken Guy and Deluxe just in a counter service perspective. Never mind table service, Boathouse, Morimoto, Homecoming. The list goes on and on and on. It's hard. BB Wolf's will sadly never be anything but like people walking by like, let's grab something quick. And I think it's a shame because it's good. In a park, it would be a big hit.
Oh, kill in a park. All right, Nick, your word for the new dogs over at BB Wolf's, and of course your explanation.
Tasty. People who know me know there's nothing I like more than a good sausage. And
Oh, Anthony, we miss you so much.
Oh God.
I tried to get the corn dog king to
Where's the
call
corn
in.
dog king when you need him? No, look. There's sometimes you don't want to sit down. I love the boathouse. Yes, it's hard picking there because it's like Polite Pig or the boathouse.
Oh, yeah, you love Polite Pig.
I love that
right.
place. Yeah, but sometimes you just want a quick bite to eat. You don't want to go into a restaurant and sit down. And as of now, it's been lacking. I mean, I don't like Arista crepes. There's.
But they're not your average crepes. They're the Aristocrapes.
The poutine isn't that good. I'm not even crazy. Do you even like the poutine place? I don't like the poutine place. No,
we hated it the first
so
day.
I like BB Wolves. So more variety in their sausages. I'll take that.
All right, some tasty sausages for Nick. Nick, this one's a little more broad. We have the Art Corner pop-up shop coming, and we've seen a lot of pop-up shops coming around Walt Disney World, and I'm sure Disneyland will start to see them too. I need one word for these pop-up shops around the Disney parks and resorts.
They are. Nope. That's more words. Enticing.
Oh my God.
I like that.
And thank you very much. No, I like the idea of the pop-up shops because it gives variety to the shopping experience as you travel around Walt Disney World.
It's a very well thought out answer.
Get a
Thank
little
you.
bit of variety. Tom, pop-up shops. What do you think? One man's word.
Vacancies. They have a lot of vacancies that they need to fill at Disney Springs, and this is apparently the answer. I don't think it's a bad thing because you don't really want to walk by these shops and see like things just shuttered. Like obviously the Greg McCullough art thing was only there for the holidays and it closed and it was a big empty space again. And so they were like, well, we can't really have that again. Same with the Disney Corner where they moved the World of Disney reopened and they moved the Kingdom Hearts thing in. It's good for Disney Springs. It's a shame they can't fill those spaces because Disney Springs hasn't really quite worked as originally intended. But I'm glad they're at least like, it's bad show to have empty spaces. We need to figure these things out.
Yeah, I think you're right. You want to make sure that those spaces are taken. I mean, even the police station being there gives it a more lived-in feel, which I know they're going for.
Yeah, it shouldn't
right,
feel unfinished.
Yes. One man's word for the Flower and Garden Rocks musical lineup.
Or was this me?
Yeah.
Yep, you first, Tom.
Stale. And I know Disney doesn't have to try as hard. Universal does it to pull in big crowds, and they do with like when Pitbull comes, and I almost said the Pitbull, and then I was old and stale. The Pitbull came, and then, there's no real, unlike like Food and Wine, at least I can find like 3 or 4 acts where I'm like, oh, I want to go see those. And I know they're trying to fill 7 days a week now. Yes, 7. But it just, I don't know. There was no one on that list where I was like, I want to go to that. And I don't know. Stale.
Nick, what do you think? One man's word, Flower and Garden Rocks lineup.
Boring. Like Tom says, I mean, there's nothing that draws my interest that I really want to go to there. I think it's probably time to maybe change up the idea and the theme of that kind of concert series. I know you don't want to make it too much like the Food and Wine Festival's lineup, but you also want to entice crowds to go there. I mean, I wouldn't say anything wrong with changing up the type of artist you bring to the Garden Rocks.
Somebody said their word would have been has-beens.
Yeah, that's what they were saying in here too.
That's hyphenated. All right, we heard the OBT joke of the week about the Voyagers Lounge going over to Coronado. What's one man's word about that, Nick?
Eloquent.
Okay.
I feel like Nick's like a kid at a spelling bee, like trying to
Use
waste
it in a
time.
sentence.
Eloquent.
What is the origin?
Can you just spell that for me? Use it in a sentence.
R. Go ahead.
I mean, I have to give a big pass on this. I have not read about exactly what's going in there, so I apologize.
Not much to it.
Yeah, I did not read up on that one, so
it did just break a couple
Like,
hours.
be honest, yeah, I'll give you a
really
point
sorry.
for
There you go.
There you go. Thank you.
All right, Tom, what do you think? What's a word for the Voyager's Lounge?
Alcohol.
Right? I mean, I almost said that. Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad it's themed, because I think the worry was they're going a little plain with some of the resorts, and so I'm glad there is somewhat of a theme. I mean, we don't know what the interior really looks like, but the theme of Walt's European travels and the books he collected along the way is more of a theme than I expected for that resort. So I'm intrigued what the interior will look like, and now, as I've gotten older, I think those are the things that most excite me. There's something I can't talk about yet, but I've seen some art for a lounge somewhere. And honestly, like of a lot of the stuff in that particular project, I looked at that lounge and I was like, I'm really excited to sit in that lounge. And I feel like I'm becoming an old man. And I'm like, I just want to sit quietly in a themed lounge, enjoy themed music and a themed drink, and just enjoy the atmosphere. That excites me now.
All right, we're down to our final two questions. Tom, sticking with you, we're going to talk about the food icons merchandise, the jewelry, the plates, all of that crazy stuff that's been going on. What's your one man's word for that?
Japan. This is stuff they've been doing in Japan for ages. So on one hand, I am absolutely really happy that we are getting to that point where they're doing merchandise that's really geared towards return guests and not so much. And there probably is appeal for new people too. Even if it's your first trip, I mean, I think a Mickey donut or mini donuts still pretty cute. So it's long overdue, and why it always takes us so long to catch up with what everybody else is doing. But it screams Japan, especially scented plush. I mean, it's very Tokyo Disney.
All right, Nick, what's your one-man word for the food icon merchandise?
Fad. It's just there so people don't have to waste their money on food and then throw it away after taking their Instagram photo. Now they can buy this fake toy food, take their photos with it, and then they have something to hold on to after.
I'm on board with this.
That's all it is. It won't last.
Oh, man, that was amazing. All right, Nick, last chance for points. Can you close the gap? Small World merchandise. What's your one man's word for that?
Tiny. It's a...
This week on adjectives.
I think they went the wrong way with this. They should have made like all little miniature souvenirs that were like really, really tiny.
All right.
Yes, tiny versions of everything. A store where everything is just tiny, and then you're walking into it as a regular sized human, and there's all kinds of tiny things around you to buy, and that should be the way to go.
They already have a place where everything's tiny. Have you been to the Food and Wine Festival?
They missed the boat on that, as you can say.
I'm going with what did you say?
I said they missed the boat on that idea.
Oh boy. I'm going with charming. I think this is the best line of merchandise that Attraction has ever gotten, and it is long overdue. To me, Small World there are two things I care about with It's a Small World. To me, nostalgia-wise. The Florida attraction, the goodbye signs, number one. And number two is the Mary Blair animals. Those are the only things that I have ever, the kids of the world do nothing for me. I'm sorry, children. But that doesn't do anything for me. I like the song. But otherwise, it's all about colorful Mary Blair animals and those goodbye signs. And so literally the merchandise line is those two things, and it encapsulated everything I love about It's a Small World. So I had to buy a bunch of that stuff. I love it so much. I even think I don't care about these ear headbands. They never look good to me. I think the Small World one is amazing. The fact that they put the hello on the front and goodbye on the back, and the clock face, they're perfect. It is the best representation that line. And Mansion and Pirates and all the other attractions always get these really well thought out lines. Small World always gets some weird junk like I Conquered shirts, stuff like that, and an ornament here or there. This was the first time they really thought about what Small World is and what people like about it.
That brings to a close our round of Around the Hub, and checking the scoreboard, it is Tom 39, Nick with 32 points.
Oh, man.
How'd that even get 32? You were generous.
Oof.
All those food blog points, you gotta just a ton.
Well, Nick,
there.
the big problem was you didn't score for the whole first 3 quarters.
So Nick will be trying to take down the Atlanta Falcons of Tom when they next meet. The totals for right now is Tom has 69 dudes.
69 dudes.
And Nick has 60. Tom, you get 30 uninterrupted seconds, which it's your show. So I mean, we should probably find a better reward.
Get
those. Work on that.
Get those anyway.
Get those anyway. But we'll see. Here's your 30 seconds. Go.
Sure. I'm gonna say that Nick being mean to the Small World merchandise hurts me very, very deeply.
I wasn't mean
That's
to
unfair.
it. I just said I have a better idea. Well, you make little mini cups and little mini.
I actually really
t-shirts.
like that idea.
What are you gonna do with tiny T-shirts?
What are you not going to
Instagram
do
them?
with them?
They're gonna make tiny walls for you to take pictures, like the shirt on your finger in front of a tiny colored wall.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, that
Sounds good to me, actually.
I like that.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
I hate this idea.
Way to go, Tom.
Tiny t-shirt.
Thank you, Patrick.
All right. Well,
It's a tiny,
we'll see you
tiny.
soon.
See you on the next hub.